Yes, sir, I'm there. Like those three daughters are there. Like, do I say full screen or turn on options, report a problem? Okay, sir. Present your entire screen. I just do that. So you are able to see my screen? I hope you are able to see my screen. Now, please let me know when you are able to see my screen. Okay, sir. Sorry for the delay. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yes, good morning to all the participants, and sorry for the delay and the hiccup. Sudhakar sir, I have sent you the presentation. If you could kindly present, yeah, AI and machine learning, and why it is famous today is something which we have to know about. And the reason AI and ML are one of the hot topics in the market today is because of the fact that in every walk of life, AI and ML is something that we use. And what is AI and what is ML? That is first we need to understand. And here I am projecting for you the 30 different technologies that you need to be there. And yes, I can say it. Yes, these are the 30 different technologies which are there and which we have to be there. And the reason we have to be there is because of the fact that these technologies are for the future. And as you can see, number one amongst them is AI and machine learning. What is AI? We need to know about this particular fact very well. AI is basically, you can think of it like an umbrella, and this umbrella is encompassing several aspects, like, for instance, natural language processing, the speech processing, the machine learning, the deep learning, like all these different technologies are there under the broad umbrella of AI. And why is machine learning so very famous today? Because of the fact that we can apply this machine learning to the all the aspects of AI. And that is the reason that it is so famous. And we have other technologies as well. IoT, it is all related to AI and machine learning. And we apply this particular IoT on the devices. And when we apply them on the devices, we can write algorithms, and we can then go ahead and manipulate or run our devices. And that is why AI and machine learning is so very famous in the world today. And it will be famous for the times to come. And that is the reason we should all be learning AI and machine learning. Now, what is machine learning? And machine learning, if you say under the broad umbrella of AI, like I can say, machine learning is something which the machine learns. The machine means the computer. The computer, it cannot learn like the humans, but it is very much possible that we try to get the work done from the machines, just like the human does the work. Like, for instance, let us say, for example, robot is there. Robot does the work, and in order to make the robot work like humans, like we have to ensure that we feed the right program to these particular humans, to these robots, and these robots can then work like humans. So these are the things. That's why AI, machine learning, and then we have.
Listen. Good morning to attendants. Nanti lahat sir.
Them it's a branch of machine learning that we basically ensure that it works like the human brain that God has created. So, with these technologies in mind, AI and machine learning is something which is the need of the hour, and I want to make this session very interactive with all your questions and these questions, once they come, we can basically answer those questions and then we can help to resolve the queries that you have in your mind. So, the very first slide talks about the different technologies that are there for the coming years. And as you can see out here, that I have listed the various technologies that are there. Now, what is AI? You need to understand it very well. You need to understand that it is the science and engineering of making the machines work intelligently. And who is the father of AI? The father of AI in 1950 was a British mathematician, and his name was Alan Turing, and he devised the Turing test. Turing test said that basically, if you are asking questions to a machine, and if the machine is answering the answers just like the human is supposed to answer, then it is supposed to be artificially intelligent and it has passed the Turing test. Now, the term AI was coined by John McCarthy in the year 1956, and he basically, in the Davos conference, coined the term AI. And from that point onwards, AI has been the particular hot topic, and there was some slight winter also. That is, the funds were not given by the US Department of Defense, and that is why we face some AI winter also. And you will learn about this winter, you will read about the winter in the several books that we are trying to have. But you have to remember these two people. One is the father of AI, that is Alan Turing, and one is John McCarthy in 1956, that he has coined the term AI. Next, please. Any questions that you have, we'll have the question and answer hour, and then you can ask your questions and we'll be able to answer them. Next, please, Sudhakar, sir. Yeah. Now, in this particular slide, we are trying to show you how many topics are there in the field of AI. In the field of AI, basically, we have machine learning, which is on the top. And when we have machine learning on the top, we are saying that it's the topmost because it can be applied to any field of AI. And then we have NLP, natural language processing. That is, the language that we have is something which we are going to process it, and we call that as NLP. Then we have speech, and so whatever I am talking or whatever you're talking can be processed by the computer system, and that is speech processing. And then we have expert systems, like, for example, you don't need a doctor, you just need to have a system in front of you which you will give some inputs, like you're having this particular pain in the body in this part and so on, and then the expert uh, will basically suggest you the medicines. And then we also have robotics. in which we have instead of a human working, a robot will work and do the painting in the dangerous places, in all the places. A robot will basically work. And then we have computer vision. Vision means, like for instance, when a cat or dog is there, we see the cat or dog, and we humans can easily tell that whether it's a cat or dog. Instead of that, the computer system will say whether it's a cat or a dog, and that is basically computer vision. And all these are fields of AI. Nobody can be expert in the field of AI. AI in all the fields, but definitely we can take one of the field of AI and we can be expert at that. Now that is about AI. What is machine learning, and then why is it so important, is something which you should know. The reason that we should know that machine learning is so very important is because it can be applied to all the fields which are there of AI, whether it be speech, whether it be expert system, whether it be robotics, whether it be computer vision. Machine learning can be applied, and that is the reason that although the field of AI, which is machine learning, it is applicable to all the areas of AI. And that's why the machine learning is so very important. Now, what is deep learning? Deep learning is very important because it is something which is there inside the machine learning. And when we do the deep learning, we basically learn deeply, like our brain works. And that is the beauty of the deep neural networks, how they work, and they help to analyze, and they will give us the results. Now, initially, when you're going for the AI, it's basically that people may ask you in any of the fields, and you have to prepare for that. But what about the different types of learning which is there? The different types of learning which are there is mainly of three types. Three types is basically classification. Classification means we should be able to classify whether a person will play cricket or will not play cricket depending on the weather. This is known as classification. And this classification has dependent variables and the independent variables. Independent variables are the x which are there, and the dependent variables y. Y is the equation of f of x. That is how we have to remember that classification works. Clustering is the second one. And when we say this is the second one, we are saying that we are basically having a, some information about how the objects look like. Now, if the object is round, then we can say that it may be an apple, it may be an orange, or it may be a guava also. So, in that example, we are trying to cluster it, the round objects which are there. So this is clustering. And the third one is basically a mix of the both. That is basically the thing which is there, which can be learned, and which also we try to take one of the pictures and we basically call it. So basically, you could say that the third type of learning is basically the classification and clustering mix, semi-supervised. That is, we supervise it, but we could say that we sort of supervise it, and we say that these are the different types of learning. So learning is of three types. One is supervised, that's classification, and the second one is clustering, which is uh, not supervised, non-supervised, and third one is semi-supervised, which is basically a mix of classification and clustering. So the basic question that somebody will ask you when you are trying to talk about the types of learning is basically classification, which is supervised, clustering, which is unsupervised, or you could say semi-supervised, which is basically a mix of both the classification and the clustering, which is basically different types of learning are there, and the learning which is there is basically transfer learning, which is basically you learned from one of the things, one of the experiments that you have conducted, and you'll be able to go ahead and try to say, give a clue regarding the type of object that is. These are the three types of learning that you have to be very clear about. And then people may go into what are the algorithms which are there, and the algorithms which are there are basically huge in number. And when somebody talks about classification, the algorithms typically are support vector machine, decision trees. These are some of the algorithms which are there, and you got to tell them that these are the algorithms which are used in the classification area. In clustering, for example, K means clustering. Some of you may have heard the names, some of you may not have heard the names, and what you need to do is basically tell the person in the front that these are some of the algorithms that are very old, and these algorithms are basically used to cluster the objects. K means clustering is one of them. And then we have the deep learning also. In the deep learning, the way of brain works is something that we are going to have the machines work in that particular fashion, and that's why deep learning is so very important. And nowadays deep learning is used in many of the places for understanding of the handwritings, for understanding of how a thing works, or how do we identify the images of cat, how do we identify the images of a dog. And so we can say that machine learning is very, very important in the field of AI. So, to sum it up, AI is the umbrella, yes, that incorporates many of the different things, and machine learning is one of the fields of AI that can be used in many of the areas. In almost all the areas of AI, machine learning can be used. Now, let us go to the next slide. Yeah, you can see, for example, we have just taken speech, and speech, if a person is talking to another person in a tone, then we need to analyze that what is the tone, and based on the tone, this particular speech may be analyzed. And if a person is talking softly, then it means that the discussion is very much conducive. And if a person is talking very harshly, then it means that either the person is scolding, or the person has no good intentions for the other person in mind. And that is how we have to analyze. And this analysis of the speech is something very, very important. And this field of AI, which is the speech processing, and there are several systems which are there, like Google has made certain speech systems, and these speech systems help to analyze this particular speech that a person is speaking. When the person goes to the doctor, His speech is something that is basically interpreted by the doctor, and the doctor can say whether the person is a healthy person or whether the person is a sick person or not. So, speech is very, very important, and this is one of the fields of AI that is used in many places for the analysis of the patient, for the analysis of the discussion and speech. That's why it is very, very important. Now, let us go to the next. Now, in the field of AI, like there are certain robots that we are going to make, and robots nowadays, the Honda cars, the Toyota cars, the Maruti cars, the BMW cars are not made by humans once for all. Uh, the robots basically make those parts which are basically important and which are basically time taking, and the humans will need a lot more skill and a lot more important those particular parts are. That's why we have gone to the robotics. And when we have gone to robotics, we can easily say that we have used AI, because robotics is one of the field of AI in which the industries are using. And when they are using this particular parts made by robots, they are supposed to be error free, and they are supposed to ensure that they work as desired by the particular maker of the particular part. So robotics is one of the field of AI which is very, very important, and it is also important that we use robots in those places which are dangerous. And when we use robots, we basically ensure that our work get done, and then also we ensure that whatever we want to do is basically done in the rightest fashion. Can we go to the next? Yeah. Many of the people, they have defined robots. Like for instance, the Robotics Institute of America, RIA, they have defined robots, and they have defined saying that a robot has got sensors. What are these sensors? The sensors are basically the ones which are there to sense that there is some change. And when there is some change, the decisions need to make. The part need to be basically moved. And that's the reason that we are going to make some of the intelligent decisions by the help of AI programs. And these programs are basically the ones which are there so that when there is a change in the particular parameter, that particular parameter basically gives a sense to them or gives a response to them, and this basically is the uh, work of the robot, and the robot basically makes the changes, and when the changes are made, the robot basically works in a different fashion. So can we go to the next? We have to analyze that what actually AI is doing in this particular field is basically sensing the parameters which are there, and when the parameters are there changed, then we need to make some of the intelligent decisions. Sudhakar sir, now let us go to the next one, which is the expert system. Why I'm wanting to tell you this is in our first lecture, we basically want to give you an idea about what the different components of the AI are. For example, speech. For example, natural language processing. For example, expert system. For example, robotics. For example, like there are several other things which are there which fall under the area of AI. And when we are talking about an expert system, just imagine that you don't have a doctor, but you want the services of a doctor. That is, you want to have the medicines that are required by you when you are not well. The fact is simple that we imbibe all this knowledge which the doctor have in a particular computer. And when I give this particular computer all the knowledge that a doctor should be having, then the computer can easily make all the inferences that are required when you feed it the inputs. That is, you are not well, your this part is not well, that part is not well, and the computer comes up with a particular recommendation. Now, when you are recommending uh, a particular thing, you may either wish to go ahead and take the recommendation that the computer is giving. Now, instead of a doctor, that the computer is giving you a recommendation. That's an AI system, and that's what is basically derived from the AI of the computer, and that gives you an explanation of why it has come to this particular decision, and the user is basically free to give its input and then get recommendations from the computer system, just like he would get recommendation from any of the doctor when he is not well. Think about, we could have recommendations for how to go ahead and construct a building, how to go ahead and drive a car, like all the expert systems which are there in this world. They give advice just like expert doctor, expert engineer, or the expert builder will basically give the advice to us. So you see that instead of having the human expert, we are going to have the computer system as one of the expert system experts, and that is the reason that we use the expert system, and that's a part of AI that we all need to know. Now, can you go to the next? Now, when somebody asks you what is AI, machine learning, and deep learning, I told you that machine learning can be applied in all the fields of AI which are there. Whether you take speech, whether you take natural language, or whether you take robotics, all the fields of AI are going to have machine learning. And why exactly did deep learning come into picture? Deep learning came into picture because the root of all the learning, the root of all the doing things is basically our brain. Our brain is something like a magic that has been created by God, and we are trying to still create the deep learning algorithms so that they function like a brain. And that is the reason that deep learning is so very important today, because of the fact that it is one of the subsets of machine learning, deep learning, but we basically have a complex thinking process behind all this. Imagine that You are searching for an apartment, like uh, you use all your learning that you have to basically search for a house. Then you have several different factors like children, and you need to definitely see that your children are able to go to school uh, easily, and then you have certain number of bedrooms that you want, two, three, and certain number of kitchens that you want. You may want a single kitchen. Generally, all look for a single kitchen, but some of the people may be looking for two kitchens. Some of the people may be looking for three bedrooms. Somebody may be looking for two bedrooms. So there is something that is there, which is basically the choice of everybody. So, in order to think it in a complex fashion, like we have to go to deep learning, and deep learning is basically going to help in making a decision. And when you want to come to the answer, you basically process this complex decisions that you have taken, and you want to ensure that you make the final selection or the result. That is why deep learning has come to the picture of and is one of the subsets of machine learning. So hope you are clear about artificial intelligence and machine learning and why deep learning also came into being. Now, there are several algorithms that we have come with, and we have basically used these particular algorithms on the particular systems that are there, and that is the reason that we have come up with this deep learning, machine learning. In machine learning, I told you there are three types of algorithms and three types of learning which are there. One is supervised, one is unsupervised, one is a mix of both, the supervised and unsupervised. And in order to fulfill that, we basically have algorithms. And somebody asks you, which are the machine learning algorithms? Then you say, which are the types of different learning which are there? And you talk about these three different learnings. One is the supervised, one is the unsupervised, one is the half and half, which is semi-supervised. So basically, when you say supervised, uh, then unsupervised and semi-supervised, you have algorithms for them. When you say deep learning, you have algorithms for them. The identification of the images, the identification of the handwriting. Then you have certain algorithms for that. Like for example, the convolution network, and that's how you have to analyze these particular images, and that's how you have to analyze the handwritings, and that's why deep learning is very important. And that is the reason that we are saying that although we were okay with machine learning, but since more complex problems came, we went to deep learning. So hope with this introduction, you have got the difference between machine learning and deep learning, why it is so important. Sudhakar sir, shall we go to the next? Now, let us talk about the machine learning process a little bit. When we are talking about machine learning process a little bit, we are talking about the particular data that we give. This is a particular algorithm that we are trying to deal with. When we are talking about a particular data that we give to the machine, and that data needs to basically be cleared off, like the data may have some missing values, like some of the values may not be present. How do we deal with that? We deal with the missing values by eliminating or the particular row itself. or we basically have the mean median mode, and then we try to guess that particular value which is missing. And once the value is basically got, we basically have the particular data, and on the data set we apply the particular algorithm. And then once the algorithm is applied, then we have a model. Model means to say that algorithm has been applied, and we basically have the particular model which we have got out of the algorithm. And if we apply this particular algorithm or the model to a particular unknown data, then basically we'll be getting the result. Generally, in industry, 70 is to 30 is the ratio that we generally take, and 70% is basically the training data. That is how I should be training my algorithm. And when I train my algorithm, on the 70%, the 30% that I have, I basically keep it for the particular testing part of it. And I basically test it. And then when the algorithm is fully tested, I can say that my algorithm is fully fine, and it will now be able to go ahead and classify, or it will go ahead and this particular process will give the decision to me about the particular thing, which result which I want. And this is how basically the machine learning process works. The deep learning process also works in the same fashion. And if I were to say that if I have the picture of certain cards, now cards which I am saying which are badly damaged, and if I train my computer system to on the cards which are badly damaged, like for example, one of the insurance companies can go ahead and train, and it will be able to identify the cards which are badly damaged, or the cards which are medium damaged, or the cards which are low damage. So that is how I can use the particular machine learning or the deep learning process. And you can see that not only the AI, it can be used in a single area, but it can be used in multiple areas, in all the areas that basically we are working with. We can use AI, and that's the beauty, and that is the reason that AI is being used in all the areas that we are basically dealing with. And that is the beauty of AI and machine learning. Yeah, can we go to the next? Now, these are the three types of learning that you naturally have to say. One is supervised, one is unsupervised, and one is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning, supervised learning is basically, we talked about it, like your mother supervises you how to basically walk. That is what you can say as the example of supervised learning. And unsupervised learning is basically a round object which is there, and you are able to say whether that may be an apple, that may be an orange, or that may be a guava. You may say that. And reinforcement learning is basically, for example, when you say there is fire and you touch the fire, then you feel hot and you get burnt also. So that is what a burnt child is basically going to fear the fire. And that we can say that it is reinforcement learning. And these are the three different types of learning that we as humans do. The machine also does the same. And that's what I have tried to depict out here. Okay, can we go to the next? These are some of the algorithms that we are going to see. And when we say that supervised, unsupervised, or reinforcement learning, then how do we really implement that? We really implement that with the help of algorithms. And we can say that there are several different algorithms in each of the category, and this particular list of algorithms is basically growing day by day. If you come up with a new algorithm in any of the categories, you can easily get a PhD in any of the subject that you have come up with the algorithm. And as you can see, there are several different algorithms for each of the category. And for each of the categories that is there, the algorithms may behave as good in one of the category or may behave in a different category in a different fashion. And that is the reason that we are saying that machine learning can be achieved through any of the algorithms which are there, and we have to basically train and test the algorithm that it is working for our specific case or not, and then we need to apply that particular algorithm. Not all the algorithms will work in a particular case, and it is always possible that we have to come up with a new algorithm. And that is the reason that there are so many different type of algorithms that are being used in the world today. And these algorithms are different for different cases of things that we are dealing with. And that is the beauty of the machine learning algorithms, that not all the algorithms can be used for all the instances. We have to see which algorithm is basically the best suitable for our different case, and we have to apply these algorithms which are there. Now, similarly for deep learning, you can see out here that there are several algorithms which are there, and you have to understand one thing, that all the algorithms are basically given by people, and when people are basically giving this particular algorithm, we need to apply them case by case on the different things, and then we can say that our machine learning and deep learning is working at its best. Okay, uh, I have to tell you one thing, that if you want to become a AI and machine learning expert, then you should know your mathematics and statistics, probability very well. And when you know your mathematics, statistics, calculus, probability, when you know all this very well, then we can say that you are a good machine learning or deep learning or the AI expert. That is what you are there. So if you want to be a good AI or a machine learning or deep learning expert, then you should know your mathematics, probability, linear algebra, and statistics very, very well. And you should have it in your fingertips. That's how we basically become one of the good AI professional in this world today. And all the companies which are using, they are looking for people who are basically good in this particular subject. And once you're good in this particular subject, then you can take this particular concept and you can apply them to your to the area which problem you have to solve. And then once you apply this particular concept or mathematics, statistics, probability to this particular problems, then you can basically go ahead and solve the problem well. And one thing you have to remember, that is No answer in this world is perfect for any problem. All are decisions that we make, and these decisions may be good, may be bad. Yeah. And when you have a wrong decision, or you think that the decision is not giving you the correct result, at the time you apply a different algorithm to that and you test it out. This is known as accuracy of the algorithm. This accuracy is something which we are going for. And if some algorithm is having 95% accuracy, then we can say that the algorithm is basically working well. For instance, take for instance, one of the algorithms is giving you 95% accuracy and one is giving 85. Then which one do you choose? You choose the one which has the highest degree of accuracy. And that's how we choose the one which is of 95 percentage, which means to say that the algorithms are many in this world today, but we will generally use for our problem. We'll use the machine learning or deep learning algorithm, which is the highest degree of accuracy. That's how we basically deal our problems with, and we ensure that our problems are solved. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? Now, I just want to highlight some of the use cases of AI and machine learning and deep learning, which are there. And as you can see, whether that be any of the segment, whether that be customer, whether that be race, whether that be operational, then we can apply our algorithm. For example, if you take customer, we can easily apply our algorithm and we can say whether the customer is churning. What is churning? Churning is basically when one of the customer is basically going to another provider. For example, somebody was idea using idea, then he suddenly went to Airtel. That is known as churning. Now in each and every fact area which is there, we can say that this particular AI and machine learning algorithm can be applied. So these are some of the use cases, and you can see that the use cases which are there for AI and machine learning and deep learning can be applied in all the fields which are existing in the world today, and people want to apply that. And why people want to apply that? Because they want to make some good decisions, and when they make these particular decisions, there should be saving of money and saving of resources. And this particular reason is why all the companies in the world, they are basically applying this AI and machine learning, deep learning, so that they make some informed decisions about the same. Yeah, can we go to the next one? Yeah, this is what I have already explained, and now we can stop the presentation, and we can invite some other people to have their questions, and we can answer those particular questions as well. I hope I was able to give you some of the brief about the AI and machine learning and deep learning also. And when you're going for any of the interviews of AI, machine learning, or deep learning, you should know Python or R is what you should know, and you should ensure that you should be able to talk about this particular concept very well and not anyone in this world knows AI or machine learning or deep learning for 100%. I just want to tell you, if somebody is telling you that he knows AI or machine learning or deep learning 100% and he knows everything, then he is basically telling you lies. Everybody, the world is learning this particular concept of AI, and we just wanted to tell you that when you are appearing for any interview in this area, whether it be any of the companies like Google, IBM, TCS, or Infosys, or Bank of America, you need to tell them that yes, I have implemented some of the use cases which are there in the AI MLDL space, and I'm well versed with Python and R, and this is more than enough for you to basically get a job in this particular company, and that's how we have to say that the person who is sitting in front of us is basically able to have a good impression about us, and he knows that we know AIML and DL to some level, and we are learning it, and this is a journey that we are on, and the government of India has picked up in a big way. The world has picked up in a big way about any of the AIML use cases that it has implemented. Please let me know your questions, and then we'll be able to answer them. Anybody having any question? Yeah, please ask your questions in chat or unmute yourself and ask your questions that you have, and we'll try to answer that. And I hope that the answers that we give are basically going to lead you to a particular path and be helpful to you. Any questions, please? Which companies? Like Sudhakar sir, can you read the question? Yeah. Today, all the companies which are there have a field, have a particular field of AI, and they are working in it. Whether you name it, Google works in a big way. Whether you work at Google or Amazon, or whether you work at IBM, or whether you work in Bank of America, they are doing AI in a big way. And when they do AI, they are going to use the machine learning or deep learning algorithms. Whether you take Indian companies like TCS, Infosys, Mahindra Satyam, Mahindra or Tech Mahindra, all the Indian companies are also working in a big way. And I just want to tell you, there are many startups. There are many startups which are come in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in Vijayawada, in Vizag. There are many different startups which are trying some of the things of AI and machine learning, which are their specialization. And there are many different companies which are working in this field, and it's very easy for you to get a job if you are in the field of AI or machine learning or deep learning. I hope that's why. Please explain reinforcement learning. Now I gave you the reinforcement learning. I want to talk regarding that. Simple case is if you are exposed to a particular fire, if you touch a particular fire, then you learn that the fire which you have touched is hot and you should never touch it because it can harm your body. You may experience a burn. That is reinforcement learning. That is, you are reinforcing a decision which has to be taken. And when you are not touching a particular fire, like for instance, you are staying away from fire, you know that you will be safe, you know that you will not be burnt, and that is what is reinforcement learning. And similarly, in cases wherein a monkey is there, the monkey, if he does some of the good job, like for instance, he shows a good dance or something, you give the monkey a reward. And when the monkey is behaving erratic, that is, the monkey is not behaving as his master taught him. Then you beat the monkey. And so that is reinforcement learning. That is a simple fact that when you are doing the right thing, you are basically given a reward for that. And if you are doing the wrong thing, you are given a punishment for that. That is reinforcement learning. In our life also, when we do the right things, we are generally appreciated for that. And when we do the wrong things, we are not appreciated for that. So a machine also learns when it is giving the right decision. It is basically one of the things that the machine is rewarded with. And when the machine does not do the right thing or the wrong thing, a machine is generally punished for that. That's what is reinforcement learning. We reinforce a decision which is to be taken by the particular machine. We generally give it a reward or a punishment. That is the concept of reinforcement learning. Hope you're clear. Next question, please. I was expecting a lot of questions from you. Sudhakar sir, some more questions, please. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to let you know that could you please let us know that Papa has disappeared? Yes, Sudhakar sir. Difference between supervised and unsupervised. Take the example of supervised learning. Your mother taught you how to walk. That's supervised learning. Your mother supervised you. So, for example, if I had to play today or not, is basically a factor that is being dictated by certain factors. For example, if it is not raining, for example, if the weather is good, If it is sunny outside, then I basically go out and play. So these particular variables which are there, or these are known as x dependent variables, y is equal to f of x is what we have all learned. And when we are saying that these particular dependent variables are basically going to affect my variable x, and then the result is what is going to be directly dependent on the particular x1, x2, x3, x4, and xn that is supervised. And if you take the example of your mother supervised you how to walk. You fell down, but you got up. You just crawled and then you got up. This is basically somebody has supervised you. So when you are saying that the learning is supervised, we are saying that all the variables which are there, x1, x2, x3, up till xn, these variables have influenced my result. Then we say it is supervised learning. When do we say unsupervised? For example, take a round object. A round object which is there is basically anything can be round. A ball can be round. A orange can be round. Apple can be round. There is no supervision there. You cannot say when there is a round object that it is a apple or it's a orange. You cannot say that. It may be anything. If in a bag there are round objects and you pick up one, that you close your eyes, you pick up one. Just because it is round, you cannot say that it's the apple. It may be one of the oranges or one of the round balls. So it is called unsupervised learning in this case. For example, just pick up one of the persons. You cannot say whether he is from Andhra or Maharashtra or Telangana or Karnataka. This is not possible. So in this case, we are saying that we are learning that that is a human being, that is a person, but we cannot say that the person is from which place. In that case, it is called the unsupervised learning. That is, the learning is not supervised in this case, and we cannot identify the particular person from which place it is. Now, in case of supervised, in case of unsupervised, we are going to have different algorithms which are there. And these algorithms which are there are basically going to supervise the algorithm, supervise whether we go to a particular type of learning or we go to a different type of learning. But both are types of learning. And we just wanted to let you know that although we have different types of learning, but it is possible that in case of supervised, we have certain variables which are there, and then the result is derived based on that. But in case of unsupervised, we can pick up the result, but we cannot go ahead and determine the type of exactly the type of problem that we are going to solve. So that is the difference between supervised and unsupervised type of learning, also which machines do. Yes, Sudhakar sir, I missed one of the questions. What is the difference between data mining and machine learning? Okay. In machine learning also, we basically have to mine this particular data which is there. For data mining, we generally have this particular data and we can get the results from the data that we have. And then we say we have mined the data. In machine learning, also, we allow the machine to learn. Machine means a computer system which is there with us. And when we have to let the machine learn some things at this particular point of time, it's very basically the particular data mining concept. In this world today, it has been said time and again that data is the next fuel. When we say that, we are saying that for a machine to learn, it needs data. And when we say that, the data basically determines what the machine is going to give as the particular result. And when we are saying data mining, we just mine the particular data and we try to get one of the information about what this particular data means. Suppose x is equal to x plus 2x plus 3 and y is equal to x plus y. If you say we can approximate the value of x, we are saying that we have determined the value of x and that's how we determine the value of y. In this case, we say that we have mined the data which we had. We can very easily come up with that particular result. But in the case of machine learning, we are trying to have the machine or the computer system learn what is basically important. And like I told you, that some of the systems which are there, they are going to understand the natural language. Okay, what you and I basically speak in Telugu is something that the machine can easily understand. Or when we are saying speech, is what I and you speak, is what the machine can understand and follow my instructions and do as I need to it to do. So in case of data mining, I'm just mining the particular data and getting the information out of that. That is what is data mining. And when I use machine learning, I'm making the computer system basically act on the information that I am supposed to give it. And when I give this particular information, whether it be in the form of speech, whether it be in the form of rules, whether it be in the form of natural language, I can give it and it has to perform the task as required by me. So basically, when you say data mining, machine learning, you are data mining just mining of the particular data. Machine learning is getting the data and making the machines learn the particular task and perform the particular task. That's machine learning. And that's why it is very important that we know machine learning very well and we are able to go ahead and make the machines do as we want them to do. I hope that's clear. but behind it is all data which is playing the particular part. Next question, please. Oh, okay. How to measure? Which of the algorithms is best? I have to tell you one thing, and that is uh, when you get a particular data, for example, let us take you get the data of a particular machine performing and on a particular day or under certain condition. When you have that machine do certain tasks for you and it is influencing that particular y. Y is basically equal to f of x. Y is basically the output. So I have to apply different algorithms for that. And the algorithm which is basically giving the highest amount of accuracy is something which I should be using. So there is nothing like the best algorithm for a particular case. I have to basically take the data and then I had to apply different algorithms, and whichever algorithms give the best amount of accuracy is something which I should say that for this particular case, this is the algorithm which is best suited. That is how I make my decision and say that this algorithm, since it is best suited, it can solve my problem at the best. And that's how I say for this particular case that this algorithm is something which will help me. Clear? So in machine learning, there is nothing like the best. For each of the use cases, I should basically go ahead and try out, and whichever gives the best accuracy is something which I say that it will be used for this particular case, and that's how I begin to use it. Next question, please. Yeah, yeah, sure. Yes, yeah, sure. Like there are two things that I want to say, and one thing is every Saturday, Sunday, I am having a holiday here because I also work in Infosys, and since Saturday is a holiday, so you can have this lecture series every Saturday, is what I can say. And number two, I just want to tell all the students that artificial intelligence and machine learning is something which is very important in the world today, And the thing is, it can be used in any field, and that is the reason that you should study well this particular subject and get a good job in some of the good companies, like for instance in Google, in IBM, and in Indian companies like TCS or Infosys. So it has a bright future, and all the best to all of you. And that is the reason that you should be interested, and you should make for yourself one simple use case of the particular college, of the particular staff who is there, and think about one particular use case and do it. And if you do it, you will have the hands on also of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and you have a bright future. And all the best to all of you. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye.